All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Welcome. Today, we're going to unpack the rapidly shifting AI infrastructure landscape. We're going to journey all the way from the massive, glowing, next-generation data centers at the bottom, straight up to autonomous agents at the top. And don't worry, we're going to do this in simple, totally non-technical terms. Because honestly, if you want to figure out where the real scalable growth and crazy business potential lies over the next few years, you absolutely have to understand this underlying infrastructure.
So, here is the ultimate question we're facing right now. How exactly are collapsing costs and scalable cloud architectures driving this absolute explosion in enterprise AI adoption? We hear a ton about the final AI outputs, the cool text, the crazy images, but the actual mechanics of how we get there, that's changing right beneath our feet. To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to build the AI ecosystem layer by layer today. We'll start with 1. Foundations of AI infrastructure. Then, move into 2, AI monitoring and observability. We'll look at 3, fueling AI with data strategies. Dive into 4, vector databases and memory. Examine 5, the collapse of AI costs. And finally, arrive at 6, the era of AI agents. Okay, Section 1, Foundations of AI infrastructure, the physical layer. Let's start at the very bottom with the physical hardware and electrical foundations that actually make artificial intelligence possible in the first place.
Think of AI infrastructure as the global digital power grid of the future. It's this highly complex supply chain of specialized processors like GPUs, memory, and network equipment. And unlike a traditional service business, this physical layer requires immense capital. We're talking heavy investments in real estate, cutting-edge cooling systems, and just astronomical amounts of electricity. Now, that scale creates a massive barrier to entry, for sure, but it also means the businesses providing this infrastructure have incredible long-term scalability and deeply entrenched recurring revenue.
And that's exactly why real-world heavyweights like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Google, Alibaba Cloud, IBM, and Cisco completely dominate this space. Massive economies of scale are absolutely required to fund these sunk costs. They offer the foundational compute power as a service, which is a total game changer. It allows other enterprises to tap into AI without having to build multi-billion-dollar private server farms themselves. Section 2. AI monitoring and observationability. The diagnostic layer. Moving up the stack, once you have all that premium corporate hardware running, we actually have to strictly monitor how the AI behaves. This represents a profound shift in diagnostic technology. We're moving way beyond just knowing a server is, turned on to actually understanding its intelligence and safety. As AI models get more and more complex, organizations face this totally unique technological risk of their AI confidently hallucinating false information or experiencing sudden random drops in quality. The difference here is literally night and day. If monitoring is just checking the physical pulse of your servers, things like latency and uptime, observability is a deep, holographic brain scan. It's looking inside that black box to ensure your AI isn't hallucinating facts or secretly burning through your budget with hidden query costs. It's what makes the entire system predictable and, most importantly, trustworthy. And we're already seeing real-world startups innovating in this exact diagnostic layer. Take Atmos, for example. They actually use their own AI agent called Phineas to autonomously monitor and fix cloud inefficiencies in real time. So instead of getting hit with a massive, terrifying cloud bill at the end of the month, this platform flags and prevents waste directly where engineers are already working, like right inside Slack.
Moving on to Section 3, Fueling AI Data Strategies. Let's look at how this builds into the data layer. This is the actual fuel being trained into these floating neural networks, because without data, the most expensive infrastructure in the world is completely useless. Right now, there's this fascinating tug-of-war happening in the industry between scraping authentic web data and generating synthetic or artificial data to feed the models. While synthetic data is super clean and highly scalable, a really common mistake entrepreneurs make is over-relying on it. That risks creating a synthetic to real gap, where the AI just completely loses touch with real-world complexities. Real web data, on the flip side, is perfectly authentic, but requires incredibly heavy infrastructure to harvest properly. To solve this massive headache, companies like Bright Data step in. They provide the absolutely vital, compliant data gathering tools needed to harvest the estimated 402 million terabytes of real web data created every single day. They offer everything from web scraper APIs that leverage over 400 million global IPs to ready-made datasets.
They basically handle all the brutal technical challenges of data collection, so AI developers can just focus on actually training their models.
Which brings us to Section 4, Vector Databases and Memory, the recall layer. So next, we hit a critical bottleneck. How does an AI remember all this massive data without constantly needing expensive retraining? And how does it retrieve facts instantly? Now, the absolutely crucial point here is the staggering 27.5% projected annual growth rate for the vector database market. Demand is absolutely exploding, with forecasts predicting the market will hit nearly $9 billion by 2030. For founders looking at where the highest probability of building a million-dollar company by 2030 lies, this memory and recall layer is an incredibly lucrative target. So what actually is it? A vector database is essentially an incredibly organized, hyper-fast filing cabinet. Since 80 to 90% of enterprise data is totally unstructured, we're talking emails, PDFs, videos, a vector database converts all of that into mathematical numbers. This allows the AI to pull perfectly contextual data in real time, making something called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, actually possible. And these are the real-world infrastructure companies providing that massively scalable storage. Startups and huge tech giants alike are relying on solutions from innovators like Pinecone, MongoDB, Elastic, Redis, DataStax, and Zillis. They're using them to stop their AI from hallucinating by actually grounding it in verifiable, real-time enterprise data.
All right, let's look in Section 5, the collapse of AI costs, the routing layer. This is where a dramatic economic shift is completely democratizing access to intelligence, and honestly, overturning the pricing strategies of the entire industry.
This shocking number represents a 67% year-over-year drop in enterprise token costs. According to recent reports, this massive price collapse is fundamentally reshaping the economics of AI deployment. Suddenly, integrating really high-level AI into your everyday business software is incredibly cheap.
The way smart enterprises are actually achieving this is through a tiered intelligence stack. Basically, businesses are slashing costs by acting like a traffic cop. They actively route 55 to 70% of their simple tasks, like intent classification, to highly cost-efficient models like DeepSeek. Then, they reserve the highly expensive frontier models like GPT 5.5 or Claude Opus strictly for the 5 to 15% of highly complex multi-step reasoning tasks.
In practice, you use platforms like AI.cc, which act as a unified aggregator. Through one incredibly sleek interface, developers can just effortlessly switch between models to optimize both cost and quality on a task-by-task basis. It drives down their operating expenses while perfectly maintaining premium performance. And finally, Section 6, the era of AI agents, the application layer. This is the top of the stack. This is where those collapsed costs and advanced routing structures unlock incredible tools, allowing a solo founder to potentially operate at the scale of an entire enterprise without a single human employee. This 4-level framework is honestly the ultimate roadmap for the modern entrepreneur. A super common mistake founders make is getting stuck at levels 1 and 2. Just casually asking an AI a random question when you think of it. But to truly scale, you want to build toward level 4. This is where autonomous agentic systems run your entire backend, handling customer service, doing research, writing code, all chaining tasks together for your final review. And the wider market is adopting this at absolute breakneck speed. Agent pattern API calls grew 680% in just a single year. Powered by new context protocols like MCAP and agent-to-agent standards, these multi-agent systems are taking over all that tedious administrative overhead. Industries like healthcare, finance, and retail are quickly becoming the biggest customers here. For the solopreneur, it completely shifts the required skills. It frees you up to focus entirely on human relationships, strategic judgment calls, and your creative vision, rather than just coding or data entry.
We've officially climbed the entire AI stack today, from the glowing physical hardware at the bottom all the way up to autonomous agents running the show. And I want to leave you with one provocative thought. Rather than waiting for tomorrow, how are you going to leverage this newly democratized, low-cost infrastructure to build your future right now? The tools are sitting right there. It's time to use them.